Okay, so this is part 2. I've done my frame, there's my horizon line, and there's my vanishing point. Still on 1 point perspective, so just a 1 vanishing point. I'm ditching my red pen now. I'm going to go with light and dark lines, and I hope you can see them. Right, let's draw a little street scene. Okay, so I am going to draw in my road. I'm going to do a little street, like going down to say the church. Okay, so this is now going to be my row of houses. Okay, so these are guidelines, these are converging lines. Now, the side of my frame, this is a vertical line. Okay, it's not on a funny angle, it's nice and straight. So all my lines that I'm going to draw now must be parallel to that line. Okay, there's no point going off on weird wonky lines, it will not make sense. So I want my buildings to look like they're getting closer. So in the distance they need to be quite tiny, quite close together. I can sketch my lines out, but see how they're getting bigger as they get closer. And then I've run out of space here, so I need to come up to my frame line, and that's going to be my biggest house. So I look at that distance, and if that's say 2 centimeters, I definitely want this one to be over 2 centimeters. So that was 2. I can double it, I can go for 4. I'm just going to freestyle. I think that's good enough. Okay, so I'll go nice and parallel again and let that line meet it. See, I was going to do that freehand then, that would have been lazy. This is going to be the front of my houses. So I want to get rid of that horizon line. Okay. Right, so the idea is that each of these houses will have a front door. I'll tell you what, I'll do a front door, a side window, and 2 windows above. Okay, haven't done the roof yet. So with that in mind, I want to measure this line first. So it needs to be quite high up. So I'm going to start with that, and that is going to lead lightly, a light line, to my vanishing point. And that has given me the top line for these windows. The next line I want is my bottom line. So I reckon about that depth there, do we think? And that needs to point upwards to my vanishing line. Again, nice and light. So I can now draw in my windows. So again, I have to obey the rule that the windows will get smaller as they get away from me. See, that was a mistake, wasn't it? I'm going to work this way. So whatever window that would be here, I need this window to look bigger. There's my guideline to work on. Okay. Then for this one down below, I will draw my guidelines in again. So I want to fit my door in and my other window. So this time it's going to be a door. So I want my door height to be about here. So I want to leave a bit of a gap. And that's going to be my height of my doors and the height of my other window. Okay, so I can press heavy. There's door number 1. Okay, oops, and window number, well, ground floor window. I need to make sure that the bottom sill is in perspective as well. Okay, so everything, all of these lines will go off towards there. So there's house number 1, and I think that is going to be I might do these in colours. That can be the blue house. It's going to be the side of the house there. That's the end of the cobble. See with that line there, horizon, follow that up, straight. Okay, all the bricks on this side of this house, they will all go straight, perfectly horizontal. Yeah, because it's 1 point perspective, we're looking straight on at the side of that. That's no different there to that wall. Okay, these walls are all these bits here. Right, house number 1 hasn't got a roof yet. It's kind of pecking at my head, so let's draw its roof. I'm going to take that off as a triangle. And then I follow this line. Perfect. So that would be wrong. That would be wrong. Nice and perfect. To the edge of my house. And there's that line. Now I've decided that I want the top of my roofs to finish at that height there. So let's just put that in as another guideline. Okay, that's going to be how high the other roofs go. So house number 2, again, follow that line, that angle. There's the roof for house number 2. Sketch that in. I'm going to add tiles to this, but just not yet. Okay, front of the house. Right, I've got my guidelines from before, so I'm going to cheat now and not use my ruler. So remember how we want this window to look thinner than this window. So there's bottom and top, a little gap, and a bit wider. Okay, my door is there, so I can use my ruler if I want. Follow that down. Okay, follow these lines down. I want the windows to be the same, and I didn't draw that guideline, so I need to get that bottom of the window on my vanishing point, and that'll give me that line. Might as well help myself out for the future houses. Okay, house number 2. House number 3, I will say, will be here. Follow that line to there. There's the roof. Here's my window lines. Small window, closer windows a little bit bigger, door, window. And it will get to, as you move further down, you won't be able to draw those details in. You'll have to kind of just leave them as little lines. And then they just become quite blurry. Okay, now talked about tiles. So if that's the side of our, from a front view, the tiles will look like this, similar to bricks. But this time I've got to make sure that they converge. There'd be no point doing tiles like that. That would look odd. They have to be drawn in perspective. So each one of these here has to go off to that vanishing point. So we go tile, 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 tile. Oops, my goodness, what happened then? And basically they'll all go converging off. Okay, all of these lines will go off to that point. Cheating. Okay. I would like my window to have a cross in it for this house. So let's be really showy-offy now. I need to find where the middle line of that would be. So if I draw a very faint cross through that window, that middle of the cross gives me the middle of that window. That's extra showy-offy. So I can press on for that. I don't need my guidelines anymore. and then the middle of that window actually sits on the horizon. Okay, that makes sense. So again, I want a cross through that window, just have matching windows. And then that gives me the middle line. Keep that line perfectly vertical, and then same again, it runs to that horizon line. We're about the cross. Okay, same again, I want the middle. I could have tried to guess it, but if we're doing proper perspective, let's do it properly. Parallel, parallel, and then this one is not, because it's lower, so that line has to go off to the vanishing point. So there's our little house drawn to perspective, and you can add some colour for the houses if you want. If you want a light house, a blue one, a yellow one, pink one, okay. And then you've got your other side. I want you to copy, so I'll meet you back when I've drawn on the other side.